All right, so the point is, I've got it going using a different machine, and finally I have power, and somehow I got on the wireless network. So what you do is you go to the Velociraptor here, you go Show All, then you click the blue link to get to your client, and now you click Collected. And this is the screen where you do all the good stuff. This is why this is a great product, although obviously it has some defects in the free version. This is where you get to do queries about the machine. And it's got pre-made queries that do everything you need. So you hit the plus, and now it'll let you choose things. So for example, I can do IP config here. Maybe IF. All right, let me try my netstat. Netstat should be here. There we are. All right, so Windows Network Netstat. You click it, and now on the right, it explains to you what it's going to do. Show information about open sockets, and then you run it. Now you can configure parameters for some of them. So Netstat, you can get the wrench, and you can adjust things, but there's nothing to adjust about this one. So then you can just launch it. And when you launch it, it shows an hourglass. It sends a request to the Windows machine to send the information back to the server, and when the check mark comes in, it's done. And so you click it up here, and the answer shows up down here. So this is results here, and now it shows me the network status of that Windows machine, which is just a command line netstat, but it will show me listening processes and then more pages. And if I hunt through this, I'll find the Velociraptor client there connecting. So if I make, say, 50 rows per page, yep, here's some established connections on port 8000. This is the Velociraptor. Port 8889 is the GUI that I'm using right now, and port 8000 is the connection for clients to connect to the server. And so you see my Windows machine on 24 is connecting to my Velociraptor server on 34 and 8000. So that's how you harvest data from the Windows machine, and everything you need is there. So I'm not planning to do any more live demos of it. I just want to point out some of the good stuff. You've got the prefetch folder. All the stuff we talked about in this forensics class is there. You can dump the prefetch folder. You can get the shell bags. You can get registry keys like maybe USB store. No, not that one. But there's a whole lot of things you can get. And let me just talk about the next project here, because my live demos are too fouled up today. But what you can do, let me see if I can get this to fit on the screen. All right. Once you have got this thing working, then you can do some real hunch for malware here. If I figure out what class I'm in, 121. All right. So here, for example, I have 3 projects here where you put malware on your Windows machine and detect it. And this is all fake, harmless malware I wrote. So you infect the Windows machine with a pup, and it's going to pop up this box saying your window is pwned. And then you can use Velociraptor to investigate that. So the only thing you start out knowing is that it shows this irritating message on the desktop. And so you can run auto runs. Auto runs is a Microsoft tool that tells you everything is automatically launching on the machine, and you can run it from Velociraptor. So it will push the program onto the Windows machine, install it remotely, run it, and harvest the results. So you will get a list of all the programs that automatically launched on that machine. And then you can, and in there you'll find the thing that runs. Then you'll find the run keys here. This is going to list all the things that auto-launch in many ways, and one way it can auto-launch is by being in the run key in the registry, and you'll find that that's how this thing launches. It has this thing called cpup4message.exe that launches from a run key in the registry, and you can find that remotely. Then you can get the MD5 of the executable that runs. With Windows System PS List, this will show you the running processes with the name of the executable and hash values of the executable, so you could run it in VirusTotal or something else to find out what it is. And then you can collect process memory of running processes remotely. So you can find the process, you can upload the remote the memory to your Linux machine and analyze it. And when you do that, you'll be able to find that message in the memory. Your computer is pwned by double bad. So that's how you can prove that this running process is in fact the one making the message. And then, after you know that, you can now run Yara, which is the tool you use to hunt for things by strings. And you can make a Yara rule that will search for all the executables on the box and check in those executables if they contain this word pwned, which is what you would do to find out the executables involved in the attack. And you'll find that there's only one file on the box. The cpup4 message.exe is the only file involved in the infection. And then you can try remediation. Now, Velociraptor has the ability to execute arbitrary command line commands at the other end, but they seem to have crippled that, so they don't work. But I think there was a debate in the Velociraptor development of whether they really wanted to retain that functionality because that's too much like malware. So you'll find that the apparent remediation doesn't in fact work, and the only way to really remediate is directly on the Windows machine right now. But anyway, that's the kind of thing you can do. And there's 2 more projects where you do the same thing. You put on some fake malware and use Velociraptor to analyze it remotely. So that's the incident response tool. And that's all I'm going to show you tonight because my demos are very badly not working.